Yeah, I mean, I'd probably say I'm biased having lived in Beijing, but I mean, you kind of got to visit just because of the Great Wall and seeing obviously the actual main site, I suppose, in China that's most famous for. So yeah, spend a bit of time in Beijing. And Beijing's a really nice city because it mixes a bit of the history and also the modern side of things. So obviously it's got a lot of historical sites, but you know, there's really cool like shops and like it's very lively, it's all very electric and there's lots of like bright lights in the night. But then you've got like the Hutong district, which is these old little alleyways, and there's lots of like bars and restaurants and cafes, so they're quite good as well, especially for like, you know, couples if they wanted to go and have like a drink or something before like dinner, have like a nice Chinese dinner out. Like there's lots of these little alleyways that you can go to, so I'd definitely say do that as kind of a bit of an explore first. Probably if you were then having, you know, unlimited budget and spending a bit of time, like going further south towards like the Yangtze River and do maybe like a cruise or like visit the gorges as well. That's probably a big highlight. I would recommend, especially to clients who are interested in doing something to travel, then probably, yeah, maybe like adding on a cruise, because it's a good like lead-in one if people aren't really cruisy type people, but they want to experience a bit of what is a bit different in China. It's a river cruise, so it's not, you know, 20 days on a ship. It's like a smaller boat, it's a bit more intimate. You can meet other travelers as well, but then there's like informative lectures, and then you get to go a bit kind of closer towards like the gorges and see those, and they're really impressive obviously with all of the limestone like cliffs. Zhangjiajie as well is the other big kind of site. That's where Avatar was filmed. It's most famous for that, and I would recommend probably going to that area, especially if people want to get a bit off the beaten path. So for clients who want something a bit different, I probably would recommend adding that into like a China itinerary. And then, yeah, pandas, obviously, Chengdu would probably be another main like highlight, really. If people were wanting to kind of see some of the wildlife, obviously China has the pandas, so it kind of is a no-brainer to do that. I always do recommend for people to try and, you know, add it into an itinerary if they do want to. If you've got 2 weeks, you know, you can visit a lot of those destinations within that time, and you don't feel like you're rushing around and like traveling. Again, bullet train, like everyone thinks bullet train in Japan, but like China has a really good high-speed train network. So traveling around by the train, I think when I did like a long weekend in Shanghai, which seems a bit bonkers from Beijing, but again, the train's like kind of 3.5, 4 hours. So it's really easy to do on like a Friday and then go there for like a long weekend and then obviously come back. But yeah, you can fly obviously internally. With most of our tours, we obviously have like the private driver, so they'll accompany you when you go to the Great Wall, for example, or when you go to see Xi'an, the Terracotta Warriors. Yeah, because that's a bit outside of the city as well. So you need to kind of have the driver with you. But people do forget in China, they think, you know, it's all flying, but no, trains is probably the main way of seeing the country actually. I'd say you've got to be very open-minded for a place like China. It's obviously not as touristic potentially as a lot of other East Asian countries. So being able to go and be really open to exploring and seeing it and experiencing a very different culture is like one thing I'd say. So definitely tip one would be like go open-minded. Also, lots of people get a bit put off by the language barrier, or they think like, you know, it's going to be really difficult to travel around as a tourist. But to be honest, everyone is really friendly and helpful in all of the main cities that at least I visited anyway. You know, you can ask people for directions quite easily, and most people do like assist with tourists if they do see people that are struggling to kind of get around. And obviously having a phone or something where you've got like a translator app is useful, but something like that would be one of another top tips. Also trying like food if you're a bit of a foodie, and it is a bit different obviously from what you sometimes do get in like the UK or like a Western market. So going there and trying different cuisines and different styles of food. You've got the spicy food in the south, like Sichuan, you've got like the more noodles up in the north and like rice as well. So there are various different areas around the country where you will notice lots of different food. So yeah, definitely if you're a foodie, then that would be a top tip to try, especially in Shanghai as well. The steamed bun, the xiaolongbao, yeah, they're really good. The little dragon buns is the translation, but yeah, they're kind of these soup-filled dumplings. So you've definitely got to try that if you go to Shanghai as well. Probably one of the most unique things I did actually in China was I did an overnight camp at the Great Wall, which I don't know if you can do actually nowadays, but it was a really fun experience. Just like me and a few friends went out from Beijing, just like 2 hours, went to this kind of lesser visited area of the wall, did a bit of a day hike and then set up a tent and camped overnight with a local guide. So that was really good fun. Like I said, I don't think you can do it anymore, but there are really good hotel options nearby. There's one we do sell actually, the Commune. It's a really nice boutique hotel, really good access directly to the Great Wall, just a stone's throw away. We've also got exclusive use of this path that goes directly to the Great Wall. So for clients who might want to not necessarily camp on the Great Wall, but have an experience of staying there overnight, that would be a really nice property definitely to look at. Probably just how modern it was. Like, I guess people, as I said, have this kind of vision of China being very closed and quite, you know, a reclusive society almost from like history. But actually going there, it's definitely opening up to a lot of like, you know, tourists. They've definitely relaxed like on the visas, like if you're trying to transit through. So it's quite easy to do like a stopover, to be honest, now if you're going onwards to other Asian destinations. Doing a few nights stopover in Shanghai or Beijing is quite, you know, attractive nowadays, because you can actually then do those visits, because the Great Wall isn't far away, and Shanghai as well, if you're staying there, like that's a very, you know, modern cosmopolitan city. There's loads to see and do there too. So yeah, I think that's the main thing that surprised me, that it was almost kind of this, you know, it was very high tech. I mean, obviously lots of things are made in China and it is known for being such a big powerhouse for that, but yeah, just everything was really busy, and like, you know, you could travel around like all night, and it was all very safe as well. I think people often think that too, it's not going to be the safest destination, but it was really, really safe. I never felt kind of worried about anything going out and about as a tourist. I often have said to clients before, like, especially for Japan, because we all know Japan is like really popular, but China does offer quite a lot, which is in a way similar to Japan. You know, it's got the Eastern Asian culture, you've got the unique transportation like the bullet trains and everything. It's got a bit of the cherry blossom, which is very popular. So I often say to people, like, you know, if Japan's going to be a bit too difficult to get because of availability, like consider China or even Korea. Those two destinations are also really good alternatives. I think it could be, you know, definitely blossoming, if you pardon the pun, into like something else that, you know, would be really popular for 2025.